all with the urban sound of pride, baby. Yes, we are. How all of my laughing hyenas doing? What is going on with my madam, our beehive, Barb, Stevens, Stevens, beautiful people, Flame S Navy, and of course my Macintosh kid. What is happening? It's going to be one of those shows today. You already know. I thank you all for having a wonderful weekend and getting back to me safely here at Club Chit Chat on WERUradio. We have a very special guest right at the top of the show. We have a very special guest that's going to join us, the one and only Malcolm Kenyatta. Malcolm?
Oh my God, it's so exciting to be with you. I'm happy to talk to you today.
Oh my God, I am just as excited to talk to you as well. For those of you who don't know, Malcolm Kenyatta is the young man that ran for the state Senate position against John Fetterman. But John Fetterman ended up getting that position. We just so happy that another Democrat won and not that Republican, Dr. Oz. Hello. But the reason that we're talking to Malcolm Kenyatta today is because he was appointed along with 49 other people to the National Advisory Board by President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, this board consists of 50 members of senators, governors, and lawmakers. Now, Kenyatta, you are still working hard in Pennsylvania, are you not?
Oh, absolutely we are. And this is just such an exciting year because in the State House, first of all, we took the control of the State House, Democrats did, for the first time in over a decade. So that in and of itself was a major deal. But then we've used it to actually govern in a way, pass some bills that can make people's lives better. One of the important ones that we did was we passed a bill last week called the Fairness Act. This would extend non-discrimination protections to all Pennsylvanians, including for the first time LGBTQ Pennsylvanians. We passed that out of the State House. It was my bill. And now it's in the State Senate. And the governor has said, he's ready, willing to sign it. And so now we have to get it through the Republican-controlled State Senate. But it's things like that we're doing to make Pennsylvania a better place, a fairer place. It shows you the real difference when Democrats are in charge, in my opinion, versus when Republicans are in charge. We're doing the same thing on gun violence, on helping seniors with a variety of different issues, including being able to stay in their homes. And so we just really hit the ground running, and it's exciting to find ourselves in a position where we're able to really advance an agenda instead of doing what I've had to do for nearly half a decade, which was to fight all these, crazy ideas that were coming out of my colleagues on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have been working on workers' rights. You've been working on common sense gun laws, and also with government corruption and waste. So it was no surprise that they picked you to be one of the people on the Reelection Advisory Board for the Biden-Harris campaign. So what is it that you all are seeking from the voters when it comes to trying to get Biden and Harris reelected?
Listen, I think, for the next, year and a half, we're going to have a real clear contrast between what this president and vice president and this administration has been able to do and really the folks on the other side who are full-time residents of Fantasy Island. I mean, when you look at what this president has been able to accomplish, passing the Freedom to Marry Act, what he did through the Inflation Reduction Act to lower the cost of prescription drugs. And there's so many people who who might be living with diabetes, who now only have to pay $30 a month. $30 a month.
Right.
People were paying thousands of dollars to get their prescriptions. I buried both of my parents by the time I was 27 because they didn't have the type of health care that everybody deserves. When we think about what this president was able to do around infrastructure, we're going to be in a position where over the next decade, we're going to be able to replace every lead pipe in America. So think about folks like Flint. Think about other communities where we know there are issues with the quality and the safety of the water because of lead pipes. Look at what he's been able to do around clean energy with the largest investment in history in terms of clean energy, something that has never, ever happened before. On all of these issues, this is a real interest to Black folks, and particularly to Black queer folks. When we think about climate crisis, for example, we know that the climate crisis hits people first and worst. We know that when there are, major disasters because of these extreme weather events, that Black communities recover at a lower rate if they ever even get back up to where they were after these, major storms and these disasters. And we know that on the other side, we have either Donald Trump, who is somebody who's made it very clear he does not have the moral aptitude, the mental aptitude to lead this nation, or somebody like Ron DeSantis, who's done everything in his power to restrict access to abortion. Florida has now one of the most restrictive abortion access bills in the entire country. He has made it very clear just today. He signed a bill to ban any studies of gender, of race, of inequality in all public universities. He signed the Don't Say Gay bill. He is somebody who's made it very clear he doesn't want to solve problems. He wants to try to go after the Black and brown community, and particularly the Black and brown LGBTQ community. And so he's somebody who's completely unacceptable. And so when folks look at this, we have somebody like President Biden and Vice President Harris who have a record of success. And I just mentioned like 3 or 4 things. And then on the other side, we have people who've made it clear they're going to show their butts every chance they get, and they only want power to use it to go after people they don't like.
Right. And I was talking about the National Advisory Board, and it's made up of senators and governors and lawyers. And one of the people that you're working with is your very own governor, Josh Shapiro. How is it working with your governor?
Josh has been a friend of mine for a long time. And, it's an incredible honor for the president to ask me to do this, to serve in this capacity, to help get the message out, to talk to people like you, who you have done so much in your career to build this platform. And so I appreciate this opportunity. It's one of these moments where we need all hands on deck.
Right.
And I say to everybody, you have a lot of people, and maybe some of your listeners who say like, Malcolm, I'm so damn sick of politics. I don't do politics. I'll tell you, politics does you. Okay. Politics does you. And so the question is not whether or not the decisions that are made are going to impact our community. The real question is whether or not we are willing to step up, speak up, and be engaged in the process. And listen, I think it's important that we elect the president. But when you think about the things that we haven't been able to do, it makes it clear that it's not good enough just for the president to win re-election. We also have to win control of the House. Right. We have to keep control of the Senate. We have to approve more judges who believe in upholding the rule of law and not throwing out decades-long precedent like they did with overturning Roe v. Wade. And Clarence Thomas made it very clear in his dissent on Roe v. Wade. And not only did they want to go after Roe v. Wade, but they wanted to go after Lawrence v. Texas, which took sodomy off the books in states all across the country, where they say even being gay and making love to the person that you love, you can go to jail for that for many years. Right. And we have somebody on the court who says if a case comes before him, he's made it clear how he's going to vote to overturn these things. We see them doing everything they can to ban gender-affirming care for trans siblings. Right. There is a real threat and a target on the back of people of color in this nation, a target on the back of LGBTQ folks in this nation, and there's a very different direction that we can continue to move here to finish the job as they said, but they need some more help in these things.
And then on top of that, I want everybody to know that you're a person that can walk and chew gum at the same time, because not only are you trying to get President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris reelected, you're also running for State Auditor General in your state.
I am. When I traveled around the Commonwealth for, the Senate, a part of what I recognized is that there were so many families who, I grew up in a working poor family. My dad was so short. My mom was a home health aide. They separated when I was pretty young and lived 6 different places by the time I graduated high school. Got my first job with washing dishes at a little vegan soul food restaurant here in Philly. And I tell you all that because there are so many moments where I watched God deliver for my family, not deliver for people just like me who are living in communities where affordable housing, access to quality employment can feel for people, communities where levels of gun violence are out of control. And the Auditor general is the one person in government who's supposed to, in which government isn't working, and to really hold people accountable to make government work. I think about people saying, "No, I'm sick of government. It didn't do this. It didn't do that." You know what? I would be that one person who will look at the things are not, or programs are not funded in the way that they need to be, being misused, or the program is not delivering from a service perspective what it's supposed to be delivering. Things running on time, but somebody has to have the job of standing at the train station. Hey, the trains actually did not come on time. Okay. And I have my entire career about holding people accountable, particularly to working for people who so often get completely ignored. And so we have an opportunity to, elect the first openly LGBTQ president in Pennsylvania history, and to have somebody in there really be focused on making government deliver. But part of what I recognize, you have to have good people at every level of government. Hello? You need a good city council mayor. You need a good auditor general. And you also need a good president. Clearly, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, that ain't it.
Okay. And like you just said, we are an LGBTQ plus owned and operated radio station. And I was glad that you put it out there and let everybody know you are the first openly gay person of color to ever run for U.S. Senate.
Yeah, in American history. Yeah, absolutely. It was, it was one of those moments where, this moment in time requires all of us to sort of step up and get engaged. To not, sit on wait for somebody else to determine, for somebody else to determine our fates and our futures. We have to get engaged, and my hope is that in the future, we have Black LGBTQ folks who are elected to all sorts of things. When I was elected to the state house, I was the first openly LGBTQ Black person ever elected. Now there are four of us in the General Assembly, just in 5 years' time. So things can change. Barriers can be broken. But what it takes is, for people to be a little brave. And I'll tell you, bravery is really contagious. When you step up, it really can encourage somebody else to step up as well. And that's what I did when I ran. And and I'm looking forward to this next election, not just because we have something to run against DeSantis or Donald Trump. And I do think both of them are very clear and present threats to me, to you, and to all of your listeners. But I also think that when you look at what the president and vice president have done, even like his, trying to cancel student loan debt. Right. Obviously the Supreme Court is holding that up. And that's what I mentioned, right? We need good presidents, we need good judges, we need good everybody. But it's going to require us to stay engaged. And I think also for us to talk to each other and to talk to our families about what this president has been able to do. I do think that sometimes all the accomplishments are treated as wallpaper. There's so many accomplishments that people don't sort of keep track. But, on issue after issue, I think this president has accomplished a lot, and I think he deserves an opportunity to finish the job and keep delivering for our communities. And hopefully we send him back with some real help.
Now, we also talked to Jaime Harrison last week, and then we're talking to you this week. And it's just like the Democrats have been saying for years that it's time for the younger generation to come on and take the baton and carry it the distance. And you're not someone that has just hit the scene when you ran for Senate. You were a part of the people that President Biden allowed to be keynote speakers at the 2020 Democratic National Convention. How was that, being able to speak to an audience of that magnitude on that stage?
That was in a very, a very tough time for the entire country. We were all still living through the height of the COVID, pandemic. And I think it was important for the country to see all of the talent that exists in the Democratic Party. So many young leaders who are stepping up, and so many young leaders that you'll have on your program in the future, who are finding their place in this broader world where they have something to offer. And you don't have to run for office. right? There might not be for everybody.
Right.
But there is so much that we do have to offer. And I think when we use whatever we have to move the needle where we are, there's a real ripple effect from that. You know, we have to find our little place of the world and make it better. And that's what I've been committed to doing, you know, my entire career. And that's what I've seen, you know, President Biden and Vice President Harris do for, you know, their 2.5 years in office, is really try to tackle some of the structural issues that has made life so hard for people, you know, depending on where you come from and what the color of your skin is and who you love and how you identify.
Malcolm Kenyatta, once again, I want to thank you. And for those of you that don't know, Malcolm Kenyatta, he graduated from Drexel University. He also graduated from Temple University, and he went to Howard Kennedy School Executives State Local Government Program. He is married to Dr. Matthew Kenyatta, and they have a dog by the name of Cleo. Is that Miss Cleo? But to everybody that wants to get to know you more, they can go and check out the documentaries that you're a part of going forward. And Kenyatta, do not wait your turn. Is there anything else you want to say? Or how can people get in contact with you? Or how can people get, you know, to help, you know, donate towards this new advisory board that you all are a part of?
So I would say, you know, folks want to follow me, they can go to @Malcolm Kenyatta on all social media platforms. But I also would encourage folks to go to JoeBiden.com, or they can also, you know, they can text the campaign as well at 303. 0300.
Get it out, Kenyatta. Is that the real number?
It really is.
Say that number one more time.
3033. 30330. So 30330. If they text that number, they can stay in touch with the campaign and begin to, you know, engage. Because you know, if I'll just repeat what I said, listen, I want to beat the Republicans because I think they have bad ideas. But I'm excited to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because of what they've done for our community. And I think they deserve to be reelected in a resounding way. But also, if you needed any more encouragement, we do have some people on the other side who want to do everything they can to tear up our communities and to divide us up. And I think we can go in a markedly different direction.
All right, Malcolm Kenyatta, he's in Pennsylvania. But if you ever need anything for us to put anything out for you, you know we are a streaming service, so we are a streaming radio. So we have listeners in Pennsylvania, so you give us a call and we'll get it out there to your listeners as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and look forward to talking to you again.